Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm doing something that I'm pretty hyped about because it's something I've wanted to try for a while. Actually, oddly enough, and it's pretty pathetic and sad to say this, but these came out just before I left Japan, and I was in such a not great state of mind back then that I totally just glossed them over. But anyway, these are, just like it says down here in the corner of the box, these are n-guage 1/150th scale models by Tomitech, like it says up there in the top. But anyway, these are 1/50th scale, which means they're very similar to Bandai's high grade, which is 1/44th scale, and these particular buildings right here, these broken ones, are used quite regularly online for what you could almost call like instant dioramas for gunpla. Recently, I've really been interested in trying out some n-guage train scenery with gunpla. Some of the cityscapes, etc. look like they could be absolutely and utterly awesome, so these will be the first ones I'm taking a look at because I know they are the most popular when it comes to using them with gunpla because everyone likes busted buildings with gunpla. But for me, my ultimate goal is literally that image you've seen on the front of the Master Grade Gym Sniper 2 box. I want something like that. A cool, lit, nighttime cityscape. That's my end goal, and eventually I'll get around to it. But for now, let's look at some busted buildings. As usual, this video around here would not be possible without those absolutely awesome people over at HobbyLink Japan, so if you want some n-guage 1/50th scale buildings for with your gunpla, then there's a link down there in the description to each of the buildings you're seeing in this video. Now here we go. So we're going to start these one by one, starting off with the Highrise under Demolition A. I'll just slide on in the real grade Mark II here for some scale, so you get a good general idea of the size of these guys. On the front of the box there, you get to see what we'll get when we put this together. This is a kit, so there is a bit of assembly required. On the side of the box then we get some close-up shots of some of the detail, and this does come painted in the box. I took a peek already, so what you see right here is what you get. No painting skills required. On the other side of the box here, we've got some more images of other things that are available separately. So these are smaller little kits. If you do get this, you can grab them to jazz it up, like it shows here on the top of the box if you want to give it a little bit more life. That is pretty cool. I might want to check those out at some point. And when we finally do get around to emptying this out, that is what's inside. We have some assembly instructions here, simple enough. All the floors are quite different, so hopefully we won't mix them up. Then we've got this bag containing everything in there, so that is pretty much how tall the building will be beside a Gundam, a classic standard Gundam, like the Mark II right here. Taking a look at each of the parts one by one, there is the ground floor. As you can see, it is painted out of box. That's the bottom in case you're curious. This is very nicely detailed for it right out of the box. There is a quick example of what one of the sides of the building will look like. So we do have a particular color here, a different color around the broken section. So this is I do feel that some people might want to dirty this up a little bit more, kind of give it that more gritty feel, but straight out of the box, it still looks awesome. There's what each of the floors look like. Once again, the detail on this is insane. This has been painted on the runner. We do have some dirt or scorch marks around the edges there, and all in all, I am impressed so far. And if that was not enough, we also get this tiny little sprue, or runner, depending on what you like to call it, of broken, fragmented rock. That is really cool, I guess. That is parts of the broken floors, and once again, super impressed. Let's put it together. As for the assembly of these, the only tool you'll really require is a nipper, and yes, that is a toothpick holding my god hand together. Anyway, so as for the build of this thing right here, it is extremely simple. No glue is required, but I would recommend using some, but I'll get onto that in a minute or two. But it all just slots together. Simply follow what's on that sheet of paper I just showed you, and it just all goes together like what you're seeing right now. So anyway, that right there is what it looks like finished, and I have to admit, once again, I am absolutely impressed by this right here. The paintwork on it is fantastic. There's multiple layers to most of the paint on here. A lot of it's been finished off with some of that extra brown weathering, so all in all, this thing looks better out of the box than I actually expected it to. However, right here I will mention that I do recommend gluing this, because I didn't glue this right here, and if you try to pick it up, well, that's gonna happen. Also, everything does line up quite well, but as you can see, this could be pushed in a little bit better at the corner here, and all in all, it could definitely do just by being glued together. It would be a lot handier in the long run. Also, the floors in here are not held in place. As you can see, they just flop up and down like this. So, again, glue would be a good idea. Because there would be nothing worse than if you were just trying to set up a scene, for example, of Mark II here being busted into this building, and you end up just knocking out a floor or something like that while trying to set it up. So once again, I would recommend gluing it, but all in all, still out of the box just like this, it is impressive. One thing that might bother some people though, is the fact that on the reverse side of some parts of this, like you can see up top here, we do have these little circular areas of where it was molded. These are not on the outside. All the external detail is beautiful and perfect. That is only on the inside, so if you're a bit of a perfectionist, you might want to fill those in. Anyway, there's a size comparison to your standard size gunpla. Once again, 1/50th scale is in and around 1/44th scale. It's the best you'll get. And there is a size comparison beside one of those 1/44th, I think, scale buildings that you can grab off of Taobao, AliExpress, Wish, etc. It's Chinese made as far as I know. And this little trading figure of a building, and I have no idea who that's by. I just thought it was cool, so I bought it. But anyway, moving on to the next one, and that is apartment complex under demolition. And this time for size comparison, it's going to be the high grade Barbatos. So there's the image on the front of the box. Once again, this is n-guage 1/150th scale, so pretty close to high grade. This is what we're going to be seeing in here. On this side then we've got the details, and just look at that image right there. That looks like almost a photo of an actual busted building. Awesome. Once again, on this side we've got those products that are sold separately as well, and there's an example on top of what it would look like with those other sold separate parts. But anyway, let's open her up. So once we get the box open, this is what we have inside. This time it looks like a little bit more, but that just might be my mind making that up. Once again, this does require a nipper, so snippy snippy. So before I actually put it together, there is the ground floor. Once again, some nice detailing on this. You might want to darken that up, make it a little more dirty and scorched looking. But once again, it is very, very detailed and pretty much perfect out of the box. There's an example of the main wall. There's the door, busted windows, etc. This has no actual glass or anything in the windows, those are empty. There is the wall with the most going on. It does go from one color of wall to another. That is intricately detailed, looking awesome. And there's a quick look at one of the floor sections. Once again, these broken sections here in a different color to the surface, so that is awesome attention to detail. Let's put it together. So once again, the assembly of this is quite simple. Just put the walls together, pop in the floors, put the front on. This little door segment goes up top. All in all, very, very simple, but once again, I would recommend using glue. There's a full 360-degree spin of what it looks like finished. I've put the debris pieces inside of it as well, and all in all, this to me is even more impressive than the one we've already taken a look at. The mix of textures on the different floors, that kind of reddish lower floor versus the browner upper floors, all the detail on there, the detail on the inner floors, everything looks great. Even in the back, we've got the remnants of a destroyed staircase. This thing looks insanely good. Once again, I will mention that you should glue this because this is just kind of barely holding together. It will hold together like this, but something like this is just literally just placed on top. And if you're setting up a scene or something like that, it'll be easy to knock. I recommend some glue. There's both buildings side by side, and these look absolutely fantastic together. Because these have multiple different viewing angles, I guess I could say, it almost looks complete from there, broken from there. Flip this one around like that. You could get a couple of each, maybe 3 of each, and make one hell of a scene with these. I mean, seriously, these look great. Just pop in Barbie in the back there, and as you can see, they're sizable enough. Get a whole bunch of these together, and you've got an instant destroyed city. So awesome. Once again, there is the size comparison. We've got Gundam Mark II, that little trading figure building that I can't remember what it was called, and there's that AliExpress / Wish building back there. Detail-wise and usability with gunpla-wise, I think these are killing it. So saving the largest one for last right here. This time I'm going to be using a Zaku for scale. There is the image on the front of the box, so what we get in here is that abandoned factory / warehouse. As you can see once again in the corner, this is n-guage 1/50th scale. We also have a bunch of busted galvanized sheet metal here. This side of the box there showing us what to expect, and this looks crazy impressive. This looks so good. There it is on the back of the box with the 2 buildings we've already just looked at. There's some shots of what it could look like if you set it up with some other parts. And once again, this is the ultimate instant Gundam diorama right here. On this side of the box, we've got the 2 buildings we've looked at before. Seems like we can get an intact warehouse. And there's some little guys as well who I assume are 1/50th scale if you want to populate your busted city. Anyway, pop in that open. Emptying it all out, and this is looking big. Whoa, looks like Tommy Tech is smuggling a little bit of something extra in here, if you get what I mean. Whoa. Oh, no, it's just flock. Also included in the box this time around is some detailing stickers. I will mention that None of these are actually cut out. This is all one big sticker, so you will have to cut these out yourself with an X-Acto knife, hobby blade, something like that. So these are included. I won't be using them in the video though. It's because I don't have a knife. This kit has definitely bumped the complexity a little bit, so I'm not sure how this will hold together without glue, but let's find out. There's the base. Once again, this is painted out of box, nicely detailed. We've got some plant growth there, making it look long abandoned. All in all, looking awesome. There's the runners that come included in this box. We've got 3 bags this time around, so quite a bit more than we saw with the other kits, and these are all superbly painted. The detailing is, once again, astounding, and this kit right here has brought it to a whole different level of awesome. So this time around, I won't actually have the full build of this as a bit of a speed build here because, well, with this one, you 100% need glue. 100%. These top parts won't hold on. The back wall back there, none of that will hold on without glue. All I had was this crappy, no-brand, discount store super glue that's seen better days, but it seems to be holding together okay, and I have not used the flock because I've got no PVC glue or anything like that. Did I say PVC? I meant PVA. So there is a quick spin of that abandoned factory in all of its absolute glory. I had to say I had a general idea of the size that the other 2 buildings would be, but I did not know this one would be colossal. It is huge. The detailing's fantastic. It looks awesome, and I'm so hoping that Tomy continues this line. I am completely, once again, blown away. As for all the little broken parts, for example, like the galvanized metal, etc., you can do whatever you like with this. You can pop it up on top like a busted roof, throw it around inside like some parts of the walls or the roof have collapsed. This is an incredible model. It is so cool, and the fact that it comes painted out of the box like this blows my mind. I love it. I love this thing to bits. I did actually see this while assembling it, but that big old wall, that one in the back there, let's spin it around so we can see it, this is actually made of segments. That is 4 segments. They can be easily detached, chopped apart for if you want to make some segments like you can see right here. There's some more images of that right here, like we've only got 1 segment and the front of the building here, 1 just towards the back, a lot of empty guttedness to the building there. So if you do get 1, 2, or 3 of these, you can put this together in a slightly different way so they don't look all identical. So you could have a few abandoned factories instead of just the 1. That is some awesome thinking on Tomy side. And once again, I cannot get over the absolute size and detail of this thing. But it's the size that gets me the most. I mean, this thing is big enough to hide your camphor from the prying eyes of the Federation. That's just how big this thing is. This factory right here is large enough to accommodate a full high-grade mobile suit. So popping that Zaku inside there, and as you can see, that has room to spare. This is so cool. Let's take a look in the door there. Look at that. I mean, seriously, if you set this up with the right lighting, the right camera angle, etc., you could almost make this look realistic. Put a little bit more time into the build than I did so you don't get those seam lines everywhere. And this thing is absolutely perfect. Once again, I am entirely impressed by this here. So there it is side by side with the 2 buildings that we took a look at already. There's a Zaku in there for scale, but there is the high-grade Shah Zaku Origin version, also for scale. There it is beside that mystery trading figure that I can't remember the name of, as well as the real grade Gundam Mark II. And there it is with that AliExpress or Wish building that is 1/44th scale, or there and around. So that is pretty much it, and I might as well weigh in with my final thoughts here. Definitely have some glue ready. You will need a nippers for these guys, definitely. They are above and beyond what I expected. If you want an out-of-box diorama to use with your gunpla, these are what you're looking for. They're also so interesting and very detailed and have multiple different viewing angles, so you can get multiple of the exact same buildings and make it look like they're somewhat different depending on the way that you turn them. So there is that option. There is only 3 available, that's these 3 here. I mean 3 destroyed buildings. There is a whole host of other non-destroyed n-guage buildings by Tomy, which I totally really want to try out now. Whether it's for a diorama, just on the background in your shelf, or for some cool Gundam photography, these are perfect out of the box. Once again, so much more impressive than I actually initially expected. Anyway, that right there is it for the review. I love these things. I'm not going to tier them because they're not gunpla or anything like that, and I've nothing really to hold them against besides the AliExpress Wish kind of building that you can get. These are on a whole different level to that completely. They're detailed, they're awesome, And of course, they do come pre-painted. I highly recommend them. I'm now hooked, want more, but if you do want some of your own, there is a link down there in the description. You can get yours at Hobby Link Japan. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more gunpla and model kit reviews, and I'll see you next time. As usual, this video would not have been possible without each and every one of you guys who watches my videos, and those of you who support me on the channel memberships, as well as on Patreon, including Caleb Engelhardt, Frank04484, Tyler Sanders, Bullwig, Vex, Forged Horizons, Kaiser721, n-guage420, and Craig Jerry.